have a hot start. He's the most prominent quarterback to be in this offense, the Shanahan offense, since John Elway, okay? And I don't want to hear Matt Ryan. They're not in the same damn league. I don't care what the numbers are, like, just whatever.
No, the only thing that proves is because of an older quarterback being in that system and he's able to run it.
Right.
That's what favors Rodgers, is an older quarterback is able to run that.
But my thing is, and what the trend shows is usually around week 8 through week 13, those teams have a rough stretch. They go 1-4 or 2-3 because the defenses in the league kind of catches up with some of their stuff. But because they're a well-coached team and usually built pretty well, which I think the Packers are going to prove out that they are built pretty well for this offense and this defense, they rebound and they hit that hot stretch going into the playoffs that you want to hit, where you're going like 4-0, 5-0 down that stretch. And that's how they kind of finish 11-5. I think they're going to be around 6-2 around week 8, and then they're going to get to about 6-4, 6-5 right there, and then hit that downward stride and hit the playoffs running. I think that's the only where we differ. It's not really how the games break down to me. It's just kind of where the stretch and where the losses come. I think the losses come in a bigger chunk for them. That's all.
Hey, a little bit of a breaking news. Ryan Fitzpatrick has been named Week 1 starter for the Dolphins over Josh Rosen. We will see Fitzmagic.
Wow. All right.
Change
See if
fantasy
magic
titles
ends
that.
up happening in Miami, but
Hey, he did it for Tampa. Why not?
true.
Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to interrupt. I'm with Jay, but I actually did the predictions with my buddy Julius. I think the Packers and the Bears both finish 10-6, but I think the Packers sweep the Bears. That's 2 of their wins, and I think they end up sweeping the Bears, and they end up holding that advantage over them to win the division. And I also think the reason I want it to happen, I think it'd be awesome to see Chicago come into Green Bay for the playoffs and watch Green Bay beat them in the playoffs for the second time in a row. And it would to me that would quiet all the Bears fans and make them go back in their little dens and go back into hibernation. Exactly.
Yeah,
because they're all going to disappear.
Since the Bears are getting brought up, because I got into a little Twitter beef the other day. And
just a little bit?
Although I don't mean to sound mean, Dave informs me that I sound like I'm trying to Twitter murder people that I'm in an argument with. And I don't mean to come across like that because I'm really not like that. I like to debate. It just comes across like that. But it really is about this whole Adrian Amos thing. And I'm so sick and tired of all these Bear fans because they're like, and this thing, the conversation I jumped in on, Parker, basically was essentially the Bears let him walk because he was their 7th or 10th best, him and Callahan were their 7th and 10th best receivers. And so they only valued them at this price. And I laughed at that like, no, and this is where I get mean, no, you morons, the Mac train is coming in, and that's all they can afford to pay for those positions, and those guys knew they could get more on the free market. It's not that you didn't think he was one of your best players and wanted to keep him, it's that you could only afford to pay that, and if he wasn't going to take it, he was walking. And then I got told by these same people, oh, well, Amos didn't make Jackson. The rookie Jackson is made Amos. And Will Demps was drafted to replace Amos. No, Will Demps was actually drafted to play free safety. Because Amos, that whole time, and the whole time he's been there, and I don't know how Bears people don't know this, he's been a strong safety. The guys were drafted to play next to him. And see, this is a problem with people with blue check marks sometimes, is that they just talk too much and they don't know what they're talking about, even though they're
Aaron Lemming.
Yeah, well, and then they think because their thumbs work faster than me that they know more. But Amos is a stellar player, and it's the interception thing that the argument is used. And when you turn on the tape, and all the people that are actual like legitimate film study people have all graded him as the most assignment sure safety last year. Like, he didn't have a lot of interceptions. He doesn't have a lot of fumble recoveries and all that. But his biggest thing is he's always where he's supposed to be, giving the freedom to the guy that's playing with him and DBs to be aggressive and get the better numbers because he's doing his job. I just don't understand. They're going to find out how good Amos really was and how much that helped Eddie Jackson be the player he was when they watch Clinton Dix blow his coverage assignments for whatever godly reason 1,000 times a game, and then when he even is in the right position, he takes the most horriblest angle and gets stiff-armed into the ground and allows guys to score over and over and over again.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the argument is just completely asinine. And the fact that they even think that Clinton Dix is going to be a fraction better than Adrian Amos will be for Green Bay is just baffling. They don't seem to realize that the reason why Green Bay got rid of him and he went to the Redskins and then the Redskins got rid of him was because he couldn't tackle. And they're saying, oh, well, he had more tackles than Adrian Amos. Well, yeah, he may have, that may be true, but as far as recent tape goes, he's missed a lot more tackles than Adrian Amos has. And that's the biggest reason why they got rid of him.
Oh, I would have to have...
And they put him in a strong safety spot, a tackling spot.
Well,
that's what I don't understand.
The other thing is that Dave would probably be able to look this up faster than me, but I'm pretty sure off of top of memory, I'm going to shoot, and I think I'm going to be pretty close. I believe the Redskins' defense was just outside the top 10, right, of overall defense.
It was the second overall rated defense at Week 8.
The week before, Clinton just got there. 3 weeks later, do you know where they were ranked, Parker? I think 25th or 26th. If that's not the result of one guy screwing everything up. And by the way, his first game there, you know what he accomplished? He accomplished what no other player had for 18 months. He allowed Julio Jones to score.
Yeah.
And he
the
got
fact
juked
that
out right
that
at the yard line.
He's going to be this all-pro and all-world type of player on the defense of the Bears. They think that he's just going to be that player because of the players around him, that they're just going to elevate his playing level to another level. That's not the case. No, that's not going to be the case, and you're going to realize that week one you're going to be like, oh, crap. Maybe getting Clinton Dix wasn't a very good idea.
In the 2016 NFC Championship game, and I watched Clinton Dix, who was a leader on that, who was a veteran leader on that defense, play with a bunch of unrestricted free agents on the outside, like Ladarius Gunter, come out, and he had a crossing route coverage he was supposed to pick up on Julio in case the cornerback fell off, and he did. Came down. Julio Jones stiff-armed Clinton Dix to hell so hard, Clinton Dix literally had to pick chunks of turf out of his helmet. Not grass, turf from the Atlanta Stadium. I don't understand how people can't... I lost full faith in him at that moment. When I watched Julio Jones come to our freaking free safety, who was supposed to be the stud, stiff-arm him to hell, and then it happens over and over and over and over again the past two seasons. And, perfect example, Kenny Galladay last year. Was supposed to have coverage over the top. He fucked that up. Pardon my French, people, fricked that up. And then to went and try and tackle him, took a horrible angle, and Kenny Galladay stiff-armed him to hell. I don't understand how Bears fans cannot sit there and look at his tape and be like, yeah, we should probably put him at free safety or a nickel spot, a nickel free safety just in case, so that way we don't have any responsibility of major roles with him. But instead, they put him at strong safety with so much responsibility of covering what he's bad at, crossing routes underneath, or tackling on outside for running backs. I don't get how Bears fans can sit there and be like, he's got interceptions. Interceptions don't make a defensive back. Like Jay said, it's assignment-prone DBs. And the reason why Amos doesn't have a lot of tackles is because he doesn't get the ball thrown at him because he's right there on his freaking guy he's supposed to be covering.
Yep.
Well,
yep.
I will.
I agree. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, I just forgot what I was going to say, actually, so give me a minute.
But I was just go on your point about Clinton Dix. The fact that they're just basing that off of his ability to tackle and how many tackles he has overall over Amos, that's just, there's more to being a defensive player than how many tackles you get. You know,
first you have to do your job. Doesn't do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I remember now. I was going to ask you this. Before Adrian Amos even signed with the Green Bay Packers, before you even knew that was a possibility, were you honestly like me? Because this is the difference between this, and I'm trying to do this to prove the difference between the Packers fans and Bears fans and how we're not being homers that this guy is just a Packer. I was actually relieved to find out that he was hitting the open market and was not interested in signing with the Bears because we just didn't have to play him anymore. He wasn't going to be a part of that defense, which I knew right away was going to weaken that defense and give us a better chance. That was my first interaction before there was any inkling that he was going to be a Green Bay Packer, was I was glad Adrian Amos was no longer going to be a Bear, so the Packers didn't have to play against him, because I had watched him, and he was damn good at what they needed him to do. And that's the difference, I guess, when I talk to these Bears people and reporters and so-called prominent ones with the blue check marks. They're just being homers, and that was my point to him. It's like, we're not backing Amos and saying he's better than because they're on the opposite sides of the rivalry. We're backing Amos and not because sucked, and we knew Amos was good and just were going to be glad we didn't have to play against him, whether he was a Packer or not.
Yep. I completely agree with that statement. I don't really have a rebuttal, and if I did, it'd be exactly the statement that you just made. So, yeah, I completely agree. I think that the statements from these reporters and these analysts and even fans of the Bears are just overblown and out of proportion. So,
how much money do you want to put on it, Parker, as a bet to think with Bears fans to I've been telling them that is going to get burned on the first drive by some big play, and it's going to be under his coverage on his part of the field, and he's going to get burned by it because Rodgers played against this guy for 4 years in training camp every year, and every year he had touchdowns on him. Was one of the few DBs who never had interception on Rodgers. Even with Rodgers daring throws to try and challenge DBs, he never got one. And I keep telling Bears fans, Rodgers knows how plays. He knows what triggers him into biting on a route. And watch him put Devontae Adams or Marquez Valdes-Scantling right in the slot and have him burn
And for those who want to naysayers that want to argue with Dave, was it Sullivan or was it Tony Brown that had like 2 or 3 interceptions like in practice against Rodgers the other day? Like a week ago or so.
Brown had a couple interceptions, but the guy that kept picking off Rodgers throughout camp, it was Hallman.
There you go, the 6th pick.
Hallman he was reading, he was one of the few DBs I've ever seen do this. He would bait Rodgers into throwing that daring throw, and the next thing you know, Hallman's speed would undercut whatever route, it doesn't matter what route it was, it would undercut it just enough to either intercept it or tip it. And Rodgers has been literally, every time that kid comes up with an interception, Rodgers gives him a little finger point like he's shooting a gun and smiles and gives him a wink, because I really think that this kid, when he gets a shot to start, I don't think he's going to let it go. I think Hallman's the real deal.
Yep, I would definitely agree with that. I loved him from the beginning when we first drafted him. He has very, very good speed on the open field, and he has very good pursuit to the ball carrier as well. So,
if he came out of a bigger college than Toledo, he would have been at least a day 2 pick, at least.
Mm-hmm.